So as long as you got an idea, we'll have great conversations as we get going. As I mentioned, it's always good if we get more participation. Now you're gonna use your chat to do this one. Take about 10 seconds or 20 seconds, and give us your perspective of what's the difference between mindset and attitude. Um, Here we go. Take your time, and when I say enter, you can press enter and submit your answers. Is that it? All right, press enter. Okay, mindset is a core belief. Attitude is situation. Keep pressing enter as that we can get more. Thank you, mindset. Would anybody like to expand on their input? No, how about Benjamin? Can you elaborate more in regards to your input?
Yeah. So for me, mindset, and I'll kind of echo some of the things that I read. It's a belief, right? It's one of those values that you have that you've got a foundation that you can continue to build on. Attitude is something that for me is slightly situational. Somebody's got a good attitude, they got a bad attitude. It could be dependent upon the influences, the day that they've had, those sorts of things. That's kind of how I'm seeing the difference between the two.
Okay, fair enough. Let me see. Haru, can you tell us more?
Well, for me, mindset is just, having the. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking the mindset, just having the game plan, and even in the practice, giving them the right, treating them the right way, be patient, and attitude, just being positive with the kids and having patience,
Okay. Got it. Go ahead.
Mindset to me is more long-term thinking, and more, I would say, not sustainable, but long-term. You're influenced by factors over a long period of time. And then the attitude to me is very, Benjamin, I think you said it. It's short term. It's how you're feeling right then and there. You need to both take this into consideration when you're coaching. Well, one is definitely almost like values, like mindset long term, and the attitude is almost like, how is everybody feeling today? How do I need to react right now?
I think you're right on the spot, Ryan. And everybody who have shared, you're right within the vicinity of what those two are versus. As mindset is throughout your career, right? Throughout your coaching aspect and the players in regards to of how you came about, how you do things. And attitude is what helps you change in the moment. You can either have a good attitude about making a mistake in the final game, or you can have a crappy attitude about it. You can either be a sore loser or you can be a professional loser. You can either be, get back into training and get better, or I suck. It depends on how you want to see it. But mindset molds your attitude in regards to how you want to react in the different situations. So yes, it's a long period of time versus in the moment of how you go about it. And I put verses because they're different, but at the same time, they come together at one point. So thank you for that. All right. Next, in regards to, all right. So learning outcomes. If you wouldn't mind reading this for us, Ryan.
Yeah. Learning outcomes. After completing this, you should know more about coaching process related to training. Are you guys receiving an echo?
Yes. Someone is in a double.
Oh, that's my bad. Here we go. All right. I'll read it again. Know more about the coaching process related to training. Know more about the U.S. soccer methodology and where it aligns with the coaching process related to training. Understand what the player development framework and the U7 through U8 age group. Understand, learning plan is and how to use it as a tool to apply the coaching process and the U.S. soccer methodology.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next. All right. So we usually go to breakout rooms here, but we'll just do it as a group. It's not a big group, so feel free to unmic yourself and provide your perspective. The U.S. soccer philosophy and learning and teaching, what does that mean to you? When you hear that, what does that mean to you?
A proven way of doing things that is effective.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone else?
Hello.
Let's stick with the smaller words. That way it's not big and so forth. What is philosophy? Let's go back to more in the more. What does philosophy mean in the coaching world for us?
It's a belief system, right? It's again foundational to what U.S. soccer is attempting to convey to in this instance, to the coaches, right? Soccer should be about having fun, should be about fitness, should be about teamwork and camaraderie. Those are philosophies.
Okay. Thank you, Benjamin. Yeah, definitely understanding the core belief. Yes. Anyone else in their perspective?
You might have your own philosophy, but I think the federation, they tell you what's their philosophy and they explain to you the simple terms of their or what they believe and etc.
Yeah, and philosophy is more of a way that we see it is here is a best way, one of the best ways that we see works to help learning process and teaching for coaches, right, and players. Yeah. So this is more of not so much the right way, but one of the best ways that you can input to develop players and coaches at the same time. So that's what basically when we say U.S. soccer philosophy and learning and teaching, that's what we mean is we believe in certain cores, values, areas, stages, and development that has been proven that they work throughout the period of time. They might not work with every player, but they work majority of the time if you implement them correctly. Makes sense, as we all learn differently. Therefore, we all come from different cultures and backgrounds, so we have to connect the X's and O's, right? Now, the second part of this is the basic needs of a player. When you hear that, what does that mean to you?
Basic needs. How they're feeling at the moment, the players?
Yeah, they feel valued and safe.
Okay.
Of the players.
The environment of the players, how they're doing as well. That's one thing.
Okay. Yes. Agreed. What else?
Clear guidance.
Okay. Agreed. Anything else?
Development opportunities.
Yeah.
They need to feel appreciated.
Social aspect, no doubt. Yes.
The purpose is that the kids need to like have fun first.
Yeah.
I think there's a series of them, but they're all pretty consistent across the board for every player.
Yeah. Feeling like they belong somewhere.
Yeah.
Belonging and trust.
Agree. That's big, right? Belonging is big. Mm-hmm. We all want to be accepted in a group or somewhere or somehow.
That's true.
Yes.
I agree on that.
All right, so here we go. And then the next one is the characteristics of the learning environment. So what are some characteristics that you look for when it comes to the learning environment? Or you look to create? Let me rephrase that.
Positive environment.
Agree, 100%. It has to be positive, right? It's hard to learn in a negative environment.
Try to connect with everyone as possible.
Yeah, making them feel they belong there. Yeah, agree, no doubt. What else?
Is it speaking personally or for like the U.S. soccer
I
itself?
mean, at the end of the day, we go back to your environments, right? You're trying to learn because you're gonna take this back to your environment. As much I was tell you, yes, keep it US, but the reality is I'm trying to provide you information and guide you because at the end of the day, you're gonna go back to your environment. And each of us here, our environment is totally different. It might be similar in certain areas. Maybe you get 10 yards to train. Maybe that we all have that equal in California, right? But besides that, our environments are different because we have different players.
Yeah.
We different personalities, different stages, different teams, different groups, different genders that we coaching. So to answer your question, let's base it on your environment.
Okay. For me, it would be confidence and with humility, team first mentality, and joy and passion. Those are like the big three things for me.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, no, can't disagree with those. What else? Anyone else?
Sometimes you need to have the extreme patience because sometimes, because you don't know who you're dealing with. They might have anger issues, they might have that, but if you have the patience, then that's a big plus.
Yeah. I think that's also part of being a coach, right? Patience is a virtue.
But extreme. Sometimes extreme.
So yeah, thank you. I agree also. I mean, Martin. Anyone else?
So I would argue that as the coach, you need to come prepared, right? That's part of the environment. You need to have some of the equipment. That's part of the environment. In addition to bringing what everybody else talked about, a positive attitude, being patient, listening, building players up when they need to be, pulling them aside and correcting them when that needs to happen as well. But again,
now we're getting somewhere because my next question was, how do you create this environment? And one of those parts is you gotta be prepared, right? You gotta be prepared in regards to know what you're gonna teach and how you're gonna teach it. You gotta know how you're gonna set up the training session. You gotta know what time you need to set up the training session. You gotta know how you're gonna keep those kiddos engaged, not only mentally but physically. So those are areas that we gotta consider. All right, now the first one. Assessing the need of a player. So we talked about that. So what is the coaching process? US Soccer gives you the 5 categories that when we start building our coaching process. And one of them is assessing the player needs. We discussed a little what that looks like, right? Now, when it comes to defining the goals and objectives, what do you think that means? What does that mean to you? So this goes back to your training session. Did everybody download their training template?
Yes.
You download it and so forth, defining goals and objectives. Now, when you're creating your training activities, your training session, where do you get your goals and objectives? How do you get your goals and objectives?
Goes back to the first one. You assess the need of individual players and that of the team, right? So what am I going to work on individual skills? What am I going to work on as a comprehensive team, right? Offense, defense, working on set plays. And that's how I define the goals and objective for each training session that I put together.
Okay, no doubt. Now, let's say you have done that, but now let's say you go onto the game. How are you gonna grab those objectives?
Right. So during a game situation, it's preparing for that 90 minutes. My boys are a little bit older, but it's also remembering to sit down with them after the warm-ups and tell them these are the things that we worked on. And right, I love this. I love the line, everybody's got a game plan until you get punched in the face, right? And so it's remembering to stay calm and go back to the training, the things that we've worked on. You've done this before, you've seen it before, right? So that's how you carry that forward into a game time situation.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, agreed. Benjamin, so you're assessing the player needs, you're understanding, then you got to have your goal. The reason we have our goals and objectives is because it gives us a guidance. It gives us an understanding of where we're starting, what we're actually focusing in, and what we're actually trying to do. Then we have planning a training session. So now let me ask you, how do you guys plan your training session? What's your process?
Meeting or attending the practice.
Okay.
And also understanding the footprint of the field, length, width. That goes into also determining time frame. With the time frame, understanding how much I'm going to be doing in that time frame, and trying not to do too much, but also enough to keep them engaged and for them to walk away with something that they've learned.
Okay, fair enough. Then let me ask you, how long does it take when you're planning your training session? How long does it take you to build the training session?
Oh shit. I typically am thinking about it. It depends on how in depth I need to, but it could be as lengthy as an hour, if not more, or even 30 minutes prior to the practice.
Okay, fair enough. And then thank you for sharing that. Now, then the fourth part is implementing, right? Once you plan your session, you go into implementing. Implementing is more of understanding how, when, and what you're gonna say to influence the behaviors of the players. And then you go to analyze and reflect. Now, out of all these five, what do you think is the coach's bread and butter?
Bread and butter, I think implement? No.
Defining goals and objectives, or planning.
Game like has to be a game
analyzing and
like?
reflecting. Analyze and reflect.
To coach.
Ask and so forth, I would say implement, because at the end of the day, all of you guys are capable. If I give you a game, all of you guys will be capable of pulling out goal and objective. Make sense?
Yeah.
But what will define you is the implementation of how well can you implement what you've written down and influence the behaviors of those players out on the field. That's why it separates Pep Guardiola and Mourinho. They're both qualified coaches. They both can write down sessions all day long. But what actually separates them is their ability to influence the players out on the training session. Makes sense? And their strategy of how they do it. So that's why the bread and butter lies in your implementation, which automatically transfers into everything else. Because if you implement it well, everybody says, wow, that coach definitely knows what he's doing. That's a great topic. But if you have a great topic and you don't implement it, do you think people will say that? No? What do you think? Let's say I give you a training session with a topic and I don't implement it, and you just read it. Will your thoughts be like, oh, it's a good training session? But if I push it out there and you see all the different things, you automatically like, that was a good training session, which complements everything else, right?
That's true.
So that's the whole why implementation is your bread and butter. Everything else is complemented. You still need everything else, right? That's why when you implement it, it has to come out and show what you have written down. So now we go into the 4B4. So here's the implementation in regards to what characteristics. So when we were talking about the characteristics, this is what we were talking about. The 5 characteristics that we look for in players, which is the social, emotional, language, cognitive, and physical. Now, why do we look for these 5 characteristics? Why do you think U.S. Soccer says, you know what, we'll use these 5 characteristics and not anything else?
Mm.
I'll zoom in that way.
Oh, social, emotional, language, and characteristics. You mean?
Yeah, the characteristics. Those are the 5 characteristics. So
Oh,
when we're talking about this, go ahead.
oh yeah. I think at that age, they're starting. They're developing. Some they don't know nothing, and some they're hungry to win.
So which leads to my question. If you're coaching a U7, better yet, who coaches U7 and U8?
Uh, some U7, 5 to 7.
Okay. For that age group, which of these characteristics are you using the most? Give me your 1 through 5. You're coaching U7.
Yeah, I think more on
It's
the.
for everybody.
I think it's more on the social and emotional more, and the language as well.
Okay. Anyone else?
There's a lot of kids, how they act if something goes wrong on the field or practices.
Okay.
They're
Physical.
Physical. So let me ask you, at this age, how much physical do you do? Or better yet, let me rephrase. How much physical do they need?
Zero.
Zero, just running.
No, I said it in a sense of that they want to be physical, not
Yeah.
some of them.
Some of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's more on the
Them
running.
training.
We cross that out for that one, right? We cannot not focus so much on that because we already know kids at that age, they run all day. Cognitive?
No, man. It's all reaction. They're not thinking about anything.
No, only very few. Some very few, but no.
Very few.
Cognitive is attention span, right?
Yeah.
How much attention span are you getting? Most likely 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That means that you're not really focused on cognitive. In the contrary, you're trying to keep those 10 seconds. So how you communicate with them goes next, right? In regards to, okay, the language of order. What type of language do I use? Do I use a language that is too advanced for them? Or do I use a language that is easy? Kick the ball, or can we turn and shoot on that big old square over there? And then it's emotional, right? As you guys mentioned, emotional.
I think
it's one of the things that comes in.
I think for the language part, you have to repeat it many, many times.
Do you?
I mean, some kids like you have to like repeat it and all that, but some they listen once or twice, but someone's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Not to implementation, right?
Yeah. And but some they get it like right away. That's different.
But some of them, the English is a second language, so I will
That's
always
true.
ask them, do you understand what this word is when I'm explaining? So I will make sure they actually understand what that basic word means.
That's true.
Correct. Second language, but soccer is universal, right?
I mean,
you can go to China and they still know what passing looks like.
Yeah.
You can go to Russia and they still know how to shoot. So it's not so much of the language, but it's just understanding of a common bond that they understand what the word means through the action that you're trying to show.
That as well.
So these are some of the characteristics that for U7, the U.S. Soccer focuses on, and they give it more to you in 1 through 5, right? In regards to the order for those ages. So they made it easier, and this is on your player developmental framework. So if you're looking for this, you'll find it there. So don't try to read everything here. You can always go back to it. Which takes us to the defining the goals and assessments. So now, for the phase 1, when we're identifying the goals and objectives, now we got foundation 1, which is scanning, receiving, short passings, and so forth. Select the soccer developmental goals, the objectives, and so forth. So this is kind of what U.S. Soccer gives you of understanding. I'll walk you through this a little bit more forward. That way you can understand what I'm talking about. And here is the goals. So when we're looking for the goals is players' developmental fundamental skills, me and the ball. talking for this age more of talking about that it's not so much my teammates and I, it's me and the ball. It's a relationship with the ball. As you get further down the line, then that's where you start working with me and my teammates of how they're doing it. And then, of course, play the respect rules of the games. These are all the basic stuff that you as coaches, I'm sure in the grassroots, they went over these and they kind of taught you in regards to what to look for when you're starting to develop these goals and objectives for this age. And then we go into the training session planning. So once again, the methodology. So let's go back into this. Use your chat and let's go back into what does methodology mean to you? When you hear methodology, what does it mean to you as a coach? And press enter when you're ready.
Oh, I think I spelled that. Oops, sorry. Oops, typo.
Okay. All right, as you finish, how many of your clubs have methodology that they provided to you? Benjamin, your club has, yeah, actually they do.
Yeah, we've got tons of frameworks. We've got, lots and lots of resources we can utilize.
So they got a methodology. Who else has a methodology? Their club provides a methodology process.
Yeah, as a coaches, we do get some emails from the club, which way to proceed with the teams and the kids with the different levels.
Yeah.
So we get that once in a while.
Methodology talks more about regards to a way to implement a training process, right? So define the game moments, the phase, and game situations.
Yeah.
Identifies the principles that align with the game. And this is what it looks like and so forth. So US go ahead. Game soccer gives you this. So when you look at your training session, you're gonna see something similar like this. Field, meaning defending or attacking. Phase, meaning creating and scoring or building up. Now let me ask you, if or pop quiz, if I say building up, what half of the field am I in?
First.
Who said first?
You're in your defensive
Your side.
third, transitioning to the neutral third.
Yeah.
Your side of the field.
So our defensive side. Okay, yes,
The
agree.
first phase.
And then if you're on creating and scoring, you're on the attacking half. So also for these ages, you only have two halves. So I know most of you are already going into the thirds. For that is for the older ages. So once you get to the older ages, like into the C, you're really gonna dive into the 3/3. Makes sense? For the D license, we focus more on two halves, attacking and defending. That way you don't get confused if you hear me saying defensive half, attacking half, even though I might be right in the middle of the field. So objective, here it gives you, so if we're on the defensive half, building up, advance the ball, there's my objective. There you go. Sub principle, creative, and then of course, player actions, which are controlling, protecting, driving, dribbling and passing and shooting, and scanning and supporting. Now, out of all these player actions and spatial awareness, which ones do you apply for all the ages? Or let's just say they don't change for all the ages. Or evolve. That's a better word. Evolve.
I think
asking for the player actions, which ones don't change in player actions.
Player actions and awareness. Which of them evolve, and which ones continue to be the same?
The same. I mean, the same is probably, I think, passing and shooting. And then involve.
As you get older?
No, like now everybody wants to play like possession, pass the ball. But because what I do in practice is like simple, like short passes. But when you grow up, you're going to do like same thing, short passing as well.
Well, as you get older, it gets more complex, right?
Yeah, that's
Passing
true.
gets more complex. It becomes higher,
Yes.
which means your passing becomes quicker, which now you got to understand, do I pass with the outside, inside?
Yeah,
How
that's
fast I pass? Where's the pressure coming from?
yeah.
But scanning, supporting, and adopting body shape, do those change no matter what age you're in?
No.
So those are the ones that stay constant, right?
Yeah.
No matter what age you're teaching, those are something that stay constant. Which means that they're habitual. They're deliberate habits that you gotta develop.
Well, a coaching point, it can be very broad, right? It can be a specific thing you want your kids to learn in a section of the session, or it can be something broader that you're trying to achieve, over a period in a season, right? So I think the important thing is that it is something that is going to help the player grow in some way, right? So like breaking, you have it highlighted. They're like breaking lines to advance to attack. I think that's a great coaching point, but that is if we want to be
breaking lines to attack is the main principle.
Right. So then, to me, that's actually could be a coaching point, but that's very sophisticated for kids of 9 or 8. I don't think they really understand what that means. You know what I mean?
And you are correct. That's why your coaching point comes out of your player actions.
Okay.
And coaching points are the reason we all as coaches do coaching points, because we use that to influence the behavior of a player. What do I mean by that? I mean that if my right back is not receiving correctly, positioning their body correctly, scanning and passing to the open player, then my coaching point is going to influence that behavior to change its previous behavior to a new behavior that gives the outcome that we're looking for, which is pass the ball correctly, right? Not to give it up. So that's a coaching point.
May I ask?
How do you influence the behavior of your player?
May I ask a question while you're talking about this? Typically, when I think about coaching points, it's at that moment of time, right? You're stopping the play, you're addressing that player, you're correcting their position, you're telling them to receive across the body or something at that point in time. Is that what you're getting at with a coaching point, the way you're describing it now, J-Ro?
Well, it can be at any moment in time, right? A coaching point can be as simple as a center mid not scanning before they check in. If we put it for this age group, is dribbling.
Yeah.
Dribbling, if the player, when you're doing your training sessions, they're not dribbling at a certain speed, at a certain angle, or with their head up, then that becomes a coaching point for you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to want to correct that. You want your player looking up as they're dribbling.
But
you want their player scanning.
I guess my question is it more impactful to do it at that point, like during the exercise, to stop that and just in 10 words or less, get your point across and then have them play, right? Have them correct that action? Or do you wait until the end of practice when there's already been another 30 minutes gone by and they might not remember exactly the point that you're attempting to?
And that's a great question. And now you're getting to the how and when, your coaching interactions, which we'll get to the line further down the line, but you're getting to the coaching interactions.
All right.
Well, when do I do them and how do I do them?
Yeah.
What do I use? But yeah, that's a great question, and I'll answer it down the line. Training objective, aligning, and of course, here are the definitions of what we're talking about. So this is something you want to get so forth. So if my main principle is attacking shape, Why is my sub principle? Oh, no, there you go. Coaching points. That's something I was looking for. So here's the definition in regards to the coaching points, right? Using the language and so forth and appropriate. Now, as we move on, this is what I was, friend. If your main principle height, width, and depth. Anybody?
Because shape in and of itself isn't clear. It's very nebulous, meaning it can mean a lot of different things, but when you give it definition, they understand that.
Yes. So this is more, once again, it's a foundation that U.S. Soccer believes in the methodology that if we provide a height, a width, and a depth, it gives us different options at different areas for players to be able to play in regards to creating attacking shape in an offensive way. So that's why the sub principle, when you look at your training session, the sub principle is the little brother of the big principle. If I break it down for you, that way you don't get confused. That way you know that the main principle always comes first and it's always there. Make sense? And then the sub principle is just a little brother that helps the big brother. How am I going to help it? Any questions on this?
But what is the difference between for me when I'm creating shape, especially at ages of 8, 9, or 10, it's just height and width. Like, what do you mean by depth?
Height and width. Okay, depth it means so let's say we're building what is it? Creating. We're attacking. Okay. So you got your center mid, right?
Yes.
You got your right winger and your left winger.
Right.
So there you have your height and your your height and your width. But the ball is with the center back. Ball is with the center back. That means that your height is your center mid.
Okay.
Your width are your wingers. So who's your depth?
The number 9, the 4, I imagine, but
That's what it means.
okay.
That's what it means. So you gotta create attacking shape to give them all those aspects. Or maybe it's not the forward, maybe it's your 8.
Right. Okay.
And so it just depends of how you tailor that training session to give you those 3 areas.
Thank you.
It doesn't have to be a specific player. It just has to be of something that you feel, okay, we need that player there to give us this.
Mm.
Thank you.
And of course, player actions. Here are the definitions of the player actions. I'm not going to read them over because once again, all of this is in your player developmental framework, which if you still have not confused, but if you want to get a more direct definition of how U.S. Soccer defines them, it's always good to take a look at it. That way you understand it. And of course, it gives you the 3 player actions that you want to have within your training session. And remember, every player action becomes a coaching point. When you're doing your training session, as we go on, if you have 6 player actions, that means that's 6 coaching points. Mm-hmm. And my question to you would be, are you going to have enough time to do all those coaching points? So when you're creating your training session, you got to remember, suggestion is 2 to 3 player actions. Because whatever you write down in the training session needs to be implemented out on the field. So just keep that in mind. That way you're like, I want dribbling, passing, turning, cutting, shooting. And I'll be like, okay, that's a lot of coaching points. How much time are you going to have? So just keep that in mind.
I see.
This slide that you're pointing to,
Yes.
is this slide it's not in the development framework presentation, right?
It
is. It is? This one is? Okay.
17.
Yeah, everything that I'm giving you is in that beautiful, encyclopedia, you call it. It's big.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Yeah. So everything I give you is in there. That way, don't worry if you miss something. They're all in there. That's why I say, if you have any questions, go back into it and take a look at it. It's always beneficial. And then Besides that, any questions? Any red light, green light? Any questions that you have so far?
Oh,
I also couldn't find this seat in the file.
okay.
17, page 17?
Yeah, it says 17 at the bottom.
Yeah.
Is this framework?
Yes, player developmental framework.
Hmm.
Okay.
Any questions that you guys may have?
Oh yeah.
In regards
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yes, when you're dealing with that age, right? Usually the field is like 20 by 25 at least max.
In regards to the age group, that's a great question, Oscar. And once we get to the in-person, I'll share in regards to what U.S. Soccer uses to find the field space that you use for each age group. In regards to a formula. So if you're wondering if there is a formula of how I measure the field space for each age group, there is. U.S. Soccer does have it, which I'll share in the in-person meeting with you guys. As far as if you're asking me of how do I go about it to find the space, I would gauge in regards for this age group. I would say you don't need. Well, let me back up. For this
5v5.
group, how big is the field they play in?
They increased it a lot. It's like 20 by 35 max. 20 by 30.
Around there.
Yeah.
I think they now have 45 by something, by 30, I think.
I mean,
so it just depends. So if you're asking a training now, you're not gonna use the full field for that training in regards to it. It depends on what your training session is.
Let's see if they listen. Let's see if they listen.
That goes back to the language. The 5 characteristics, right? That's why Benjamin said in regards to planning. The better you plan, the better prepared you'll be for any adaptation that you need to make. And at the end of the day, that's what kind of also the bread and butter of coaches, right? How well can you adapt? You know, if Johnny calls you if Johnny's mom calls you in the last minute and say, "Oh, you know what? I had a flat tire. I can't go today," and Juanito's dad goes like, "Ooh, I forgot we had training today."
Oh no! Like
there he goes.
Don't even tell me. Like it's like they tell like, "Oh, I can't," "Oh, my son will make it," "Oh, my daughter will make it." Like, you see those WhatsApp.
That's common in our nature. Any questions in regards to assignments that you guys may have in doubt and so forth?
Question, all those assignments when we go under,
Yes.
they don't have a due date yet, right? So do we wait till there's a due date on it, then we start doing them, or how does it work?
No, they should have. I just put them last.
Oh, really?
They didn't populate on yours?
No, because I go under the first one. Let's say if I go under the assignments, let me see.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Let me go check them again. They should have populated. I did them.
So when we got the assignments, there's like 5 of them, right? That we have to complete.
Okay,
so I got
now.
Oh yeah, it says no. Like
Here's an example of what I see.
it says no due
For
date.
example, coaching value statement, start now, and it says no due date.
Yeah.
That's I'll do them right now. I'll make sure what happened on my end, and I'll populate them for you guys. Thank you for sharing that.
And then also, do you populate the Excel sheet too? So knowing that last week was 813 with the vision and coaching, but there was no assignment for that one, right?
So that's usually how it goes. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So that's all correct. That sheet is correct. Yes, I populate that. So that's all correct.
So then this is the one we're on right now. And then
you see it right there.
Yeah.
So that's where the format. So those are the ones that you're looking at now, the videos and so forth, and there is assignment, the educators group and so forth. So
okay. And then even before next week on 8/27, before all of this stuff should be reviewed before the meeting, right?
Correct.
Got you. Yeah.
Dr. Ryder, but then in terms of assignments, it's just those 5 for the class.
Correct. And I'm gonna find out right now why it didn't populate on your side, and then I'm gonna get it corrected right now. and then you guys will be able to see the dates by tonight.
Okay.
When is that being said? Thank you. When is the actual next assignment due though? For just for now.
Yeah. So it should have been now, but don't worry, I'm gonna push it back so you guys have more time, because it's not your fault that you guys didn't see that date. The system didn't populate, so I'll push it back. That way you have plenty of time.
Okay, thank you.
Look, Dr. Harrow, sorry, I might be asking a question that you answered last session, but unfortunately my video last time and my sound wasn't great. So I just want to make sure I'm on top of it. So it's just those 5 assignments. And then you talked about a session today, about building a session. Is that for any...
That's our future. So everything you do, everything that we did from last week onto the 8th week is a build-up. It's like we're building up. Everything connects to each other. So every assignment is going to connect to the next assignment and the next assignment and the next assignment. That's why it's important that you stay on top of them, because they all connect with each other. And all the information leads to your full training session.
Right, but like right now, the 5 assignments we have online, the first one hasn't made us build a session yet. So
No,
probably,
it hasn't.
No.
oh,
The
okay.
one that'll make
Some
you
people
build
have
a
talked
session.
about it, and I thought, well, did I miss something here? Or, you know what I mean?
The first one will make you build the session is 3.1, where you got to build an activity.
And then the last thing,
That's when we need our team.
Say that again?
Is that when we need the teams, like the actual players on
No,
video?
that's 3.2. That's your last assignment.
Got it.
If in the communication in US they dropped instructions to learn how to build out digitally
Yes.
the plays and get used to the tool.
That I would
So
say
that's an area that you would want to do early.
yes, definitely. Learning how to mingle with learning centers, building session graphics, I would suggest you should start today. Because, even it took me a good time to understand that system. So I would suggest if you're planning to use the Learning Center to build your session, you got to start getting familiar with it. As it'll take you, I would say, at least a good 5 days to get used to it. If you use it every day, of course.
just sorry, the last question I had, and I don't want to take anybody's time, but we talked about a framework where all these PowerPoints or information is on it. Where do I find that? Because I looked for it on the Learning Center, and I only have like if I go to resources or
the PowerPoints that I'm showing you,
Yeah.
you won't have those. You only get the information that I'm sharing is on the player developmental framework. But the PowerPoints that I'm sharing with you, you don't
Oh,
get.
I see.
The educators get those.
Oh, yeah. It's just Somebody was saying about page 17 or something like that, and then I was trying to figure out like.
That's in the player developmental framework. So if you go to
Because I downloaded, I printed out the pages, so when it comes out printed, it shows like 17 on the side.
Oh,
on the
I
bottom.
see. Okay. Gotcha. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions? Any other questions you guys may have? If you don't, then we'll see you next Wednesday. And you should see the updated dates by tonight. So when you check them, usually for the first assignment, I gave you guys, are you guys okay if I give you until the 27th? It's mainly your coaching value statements, so you really don't have to, you just got to write down your coaching value statements and then submit it. A quick, good 2 paragraphs and you're good.
And that was part of the pre-work, right?
The coaching
that-
value statement?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Cool.
It's
So I
interesting.
just,
All the assignments for the class
Nah,
before the class starts, they say it's pre-work.
it's
Yeah.
but
So
if I
I was trying to do it before, and
Yeah, so
hold on a second.
now, once you got the dates and so forth, don't complete them ahead of time because you're gonna need the information that I give you each week.
nah,
However, the coaching value statements, you're good because that's you. Makes sense. So you're
All
good.
right.
The and there's a format, there's a page that you gotta download from the learning centers that you gotta use. Just
Okay.
keep that in mind. 2.1. There's a form you gotta use. Martin, you had a question?
Yeah, off topic from everything because NPL. I'm coaching NPL with Ole, and we have a showcase. So I was gonna reach out to you. Is there a way I can email you, or do I contact you communications?
We can chat after this. Let me stay on the
Okay.
Zoom and we can chat. Anyone else? If you don't have any questions, you're good to go. Appreciate your time. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
I do. I do. I do.
Appreciate it.
Good, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you, bud.
I just have one last question. Right?
Oh, me
sorry.
too. After him.
I'll let you guys go.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anybody else has any questions before I keep asking mine, but I just let anybody else.
All right, my turn. No, it's a long story. It's gonna be a long story. This class, like I'll tell you after the
Can we make it short?
I'll tell you through the text after this.
So I don't.
Okay, fair enough, Oscar. Thank you. Go ahead.
So basically on one.
All right, ya dije. Yeah, it's